What's up YouTube? So today I'm making a detailed guide on the 5 event exclusive 5-star characters that you should go for if you are a beginner Genshin Impact player. I looked through every single Genshin Impact character, and from every 5-star I picked 5 event exclusive 5-stars and judged them based off of how strong they are in the meta, their overall synergy with other characters, and their overall versatility and their overall F2P friendliness, as well as their overall ease of use, to see and tell you guys which 5 characters you should go for. Those who just got into Genshin Impact might see massive numbers on the screen and immediately be like, I want to go for this character, or I want to go for that character. But this is a very bad way of looking at things. You can't take stuff at face value. In that case, Yola would be the best character in the game because of the massive nuke numbers that she can do. But this is just not the case. On top of that, DPS characters are usually less valuable than support characters in this game, and this is for a plethora of reasons. And because of this, I feel like people have a very mixed opinion and wrong opinion on which characters are good and which characters are not good to go for new players. On top of this, even if characters are very meta, you have to take into account how hard and how exclusive their supports are to use. For example, Hu Tao is a very strong character in the meta, but really likes having other characters like Zhongli, Albedo, or Yelan in her party to support her, which are also very event exclusive 5-star characters that will probably not be getting a rerun for the decent future with the exception of Yelan. With that being said, let's start off with the first character I recommend that you should go for as a beginner, and this is a character that I feel very strongly about, and it is Kaedehara Kazuha. He is considered to be the best animal character in the game and practically outclasses almost every support in the game, with a few exceptions. Some things to note about him are that he is not specifically better than Sucrose in a lot of scenarios, and he can only buff elemental damage that he can swirl. For example, Arataki Ito, Eula, and Scaramouche are not able to take advantage of Kazuha's buff. That being said, he is always a major part in many meta team compositions, such as Ayaka Freeze, Raiden Hyper, Child International, and other very meta team comps. This is because a lot of the most meta units are elemental units which you can swirl, and also take advantage of reactions which Kazuha can amplify. On top of this, with the release of Dendro, Kazuha got even stronger because of his high EM stat, which you can use to deal a lot of aggravate, bloom, what have you, damage. On top of this, he provides good crowd control and very solid damage for a animal character, which places him in this list as one of the 5-star characters that you should save Primos for as a beginner. The second character I would recommend pulling for a new, inexperienced Genshin Impact player would be the Raiden Shogun. This is for a lot of reasons, and the most major one being her overall strength in the meta. Raiden is considered to be one of the strongest units in the game and one of the strongest DPS characters in the game. On top of this, she is very easy to play. All you need to do is stack enough energy recharge on her and use her burst off cooldown and her E off cooldown to generate energy for your entire party so you can have good rotations and solid damage. On top of this, her best teams such as Raiden National do not need a lot of event exclusive 5-star characters. The only team that really does is a Raiden Hyper team, but that is generally not recommended, and her best team, in my opinion for free-to-plays, is the Raiden National, which only needs Xingqiu, Xiangling, and Bennett. And because of these reasons, Raiden has easily earned herself a spot in this tier. Next up, we have Nahida. Nahida is one of the best 5-star pulls for any account, and this is especially true for beginner accounts, and this is for a plethora of reasons. The first reason that this is because she is the core of any Dendro team, whether it is Quicken, Aggravate, Bloom, Spread, what have you. She is always the core of these Dendro teams because of her insane Dendro damage and her insane Dendro application on top of her generally good burst uptime and her energy regeneration. On top of this, her teams do not generally need a lot of 5-star exclusive characters. They generally can just use Xingqiu, characters like Xingqiu, characters like Shugi Shinobu, characters like Fischl, because all of these characters are very solid for Nahida's teams. On top of this, all you really need to do in order to play her is spam her E and look around a bit and put her Q down, and that's it. So she is a very easy character to play, a very flexible character, a character that is the core of basically every Dendro team, and yeah, this basically earns her a spot in this list. Next up, we have our favorite Ayaka sibling, Kamisato Ayaka. This is for a plethora of reasons, the most major one being her insane burst damage as well as her decent uptime on her normal attack and her generally consistent damage as well. Ayaka has been a staple in Genshin Impact and has been considered one of Genshin's best DPS characters for a lot of reasons, and the most major one is her extremely high burst multiplier. She can do over a 4,000 burst multiplier at talent level 10, which can one-shot a lot of domains and bosses, though Ayaka does have a few caveats, being that she prefers having 5 stars, such as Mona, Kokomi, or characters like Kazuha as well to buffer. On top of that, having a Shenhe, especially a C6 Shenhe, is a massive buff to her damage. But even without these characters, she can perform really well and is still one of the best DPS characters in this game. And next up, to everybody's surprise, we have whatever character you like, aka your waifu or husbando. I personally am a waifu over meta player, and this is for a few reasons. One, because I think some character backstories and some characters' playstyles are very fun, and two, some characters' damage differences between each other are just very minor and not major enough for me to justify pulling for a character that I do not like. Let me put it like this. Say you have a very cheap piece of clothing or a very expensive piece of clothing that you really like. If you buy the very cheap piece of clothing that you do not like, you're not going to wear as often, so you're not going to get much out of it. But if you wear the very expensive piece of clothing very often, you're actually going to get more value for your money. A very similar concept is also present in Genshin Impact. Say you don't like Ganyu and Sino's banner is also up and you really like Sino, but because Sino is not as meta as Ganyu, you go for Ganyu, but then you proceed to barely use her and not build her that much. But if you were to go for Sino, you would have built him a lot, and he probably would have done more damage than your Ganyu, because you would have liked playing Sino, so you would have over-invested in him. This would ultimately lead to your Sino out-damaging your Ganyu by a decent margin, which would make a Sino more valuable than a Ganyu in this situation. With all that being said, these are all just my personal opinions and thoughts about this game. If your opinions differ, please let me know in the comments down below. If you liked or enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe because I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time.